following is a presentation of Learfield IMG College.
This is Duck Insider.
Give it to Verdell. He's got the first down and gone. Duck fans start celebrating. Oregon is the 2019 Pac-12 champion. The 2020 Rose Bowl champion.
Richardson, another open three. Good. Duarte dribbles and slams with the right hand. For the third time in the last 5 years, the Ducks are Pac-12 champions. Outright champ.
Holy three. Good. Holy ball. Got Shelley. Three ball. Good. Regular season champions and now Pac-12 tournament champions.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
We're just getting started.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Thank you, and it's going to be a long and fun show today for a number of reasons. So I have to give a little bit of backstory before we introduce Lisa Peterson, who is with us, Deputy Athletic Director. It's a longer title than that. We'll get to that. It's Athletic Director Thursday, brought to you by Pepsi, locally owned Bigfoot Beverages. We also have a ton of interviews for you. And by a ton of interviews, I mean a ton of interviews. Bryan McClendon, new Oregon wide receivers coach. We're going to hear from him. Austin Falliou just spoke to the media today. So did Nick Pickett. So did Jalen Redd. We have all those interviews for you coming up today. So we're going to go rapid fire through a lot of football with practice updates. Also some updates on basketball because today is the first day of basketball practice. Can you tell I'm excited about that? It's going to be great. I promise. Also some backstory. Apparently my calendar invitations to one Lisa Peterson don't function. I've determined that when I send them from my phone, they don't work. She doesn't get them, and my phone automatically says that she accepted them. This has happened twice now. Like, it is a conspiracy. Something has gone wrong. With that, we say hello to Lisa Peterson. Deputy Athletic Director is here with us. It's also the first time that we are utilizing a different camera angle so that Lisa does not have to stare just at me sitting on my desk, and instead she can see the entire studio, which I think it's a good thing. I don't know, Lisa, you tell me, is this a good thing? And thanks for being here. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Joey. Just thank God for Twitter. That's the only reason that I knew I was supposed to be on today. I mean, I love looking at you so close up, but no, this is great too, to be able to see everything. It's more like being in the studio.
So it's funny though, Lisa, we talked about setting the camera on a tripod on the chair so that it was like you were sitting in the chair looking at me, but then, and then I have to tell you, it crossed my mind that we should consider having cardboard cutouts of everybody.
Oh my goodness.
Right? Because
that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, this is what's going on. Cardboard cutouts, by the way. GoDucks.com/fan cutouts to get your cardboard cutouts.
Yes.
So,
yes.
What do you think? I mean, in the future, should we just do the cardboard cutout and have like the camera like sitting on your head?
No, I mean, I think this is a great look. I think you've done a great job of adjusting to Zoom life. So no, I think this is perfect.
All right. Now, okay. Second question. Zoom life. I understand that with virtual backgrounds, and this is like we're into like everybody can do a weatherman green screen now. You have to have a solid color backdrop.
Yeah, it's helpful. You can, if you're trying to cover up your closet full of clothes, there's still a way to do it. But a solid background definitely makes it look more clean.
But is this why you've gone for the solid background and we have no duck branding around you?
No, this is because I'm in my spare bedroom where I turned a desk around so that I wasn't staring at the wall and I could actually look outside. So no, I did not think of that when I did all of this.
All right, these are the important questions that we ask on Duck Insider.
I'm not in marketing, you know that.
Athletic Director Thursday is brought to you by locally owned Bigfoot Beverages and Pepsi. Lisa Peterson is our guest. Deputy Athletic Director, Title IX Coordinator, Senior Women's Administrator. She always gets mad at me when I say the entire line because it's a very long business card. But the point is Lisa has a lot of different responsibilities, wears a lot of different hats. Lisa, the hat that I kind of want to talk to you about today to start with is your work with the returning to competition, and also before that, returning to work. We talked about how you really helped with the returning to work endeavors here inside the Casanova Center. I personally am very happy that you did all of that because it meant that we could come back in here and do the show again. So thank you. We owe you for that.
You're welcome. I'm sure you're following all the arrows.
I actually am. So it's funny that you say that because remember we discussed how Mike Duncan said that you couldn't make an arrow last time you were on.
Yes.
Well, there have been some additional arrows, Lisa, that I have noticed since the onboarding process for student athletes has happened.
Yes.
It's funny because now maybe this is too much inside baseball for everybody, but I think people will get a kick out of this. You can tell if people are following the arrows because the tape gets kicked up in the proper direction if you're going the right way. So if like the point of the arrow is starting to bend backwards,
people are going the right way.
Yes.
I didn't know that was a baseball thing, but you're right.
Well, like you know the phrase like inside baseball, right? Like too much inside the game, like it's not for everybody. Is that not a phrase?
I learned something new today. No, I mean
that's not a phrase that people say. Wait, really?
I mean, I've never heard that. So
can anybody in the comment section back me up today? Like inside
maybe
baseball.
Maybe it's me, Joey. Maybe it's me.
Kelly Shukart says it. She and I both have said that to each other. Okay, anyway.
Played softball, so.
Well, yeah, that's true. All right, the point that I'm trying to make is that there's been a lot. The arrows are just one example, Lisa, of the return to work. And where are we with onboarding, returning to competition? Can you just kind of take fans inside that process of where we are as we stand right now? Because it seems like everything changes every hour. So I'm going to just ask the expert.
That is a true statement. And I think the last time that I was on was right after the Pac-12 made the decision to postpone competition until January 1st. And so if we go back to that conversation, if you remember the three things that they were the most concerned about was one, community spread, two was the lack of daily point of care testing, and three was the unknowns around the heart conditions or myocarditis. And so I know I've had a lot of people just ask the question about, well, then what changed? How come we're, now talking about playing before January 1st? And two things specifically have changed, and a third one is on the verge of changing. One is the daily testing. And so we have daily antigen testing that's occurring for the three sports that are planning on playing before January 1st. And it's an entire process that our athletic medicine staff has been absolutely incredible in managing. Kim Terrell and Dr. Davidson had put protocols in place that make it so it runs very smoothly. And so that's the first thing that's changed, is we have that ability now. The second thing is, in most communities, just not our community, the community spread has definitely gone down. And there's been, there's concern right now, obviously related to the flu season and what all that looks like. But for the most part, across the conference, that was trending in the right direction. And three is there's more information around the myocarditis. And with the daily antigen testing, you can catch somebody who has the virus sooner, and you can get them into the testing right away, which could alleviate some of the issues that can come from that. So those were the things that have changed, which is why then the decision was made for those three sports to play. Specifically with basketball, I think that when that decision was made, it was, the Pac-12 was the only conference that had done that, because in the CEO's mind, how can you allow basketball to play when you're not allowing football to play? So it made sense. So when the NCAA changed the start of that season to November 25th, that made it a lot easier for our league to be able to do that, because it gives you more time. And the one thing that we have learned in all of this is that time is our friend, and everything, even though what I knew an hour ago, I don't know now, you still know more than what we did previously. And so that's what's been very helpful. The challenge in all of this is when they did make the decision to play those sports before January 1st, it was without fans. And I know that that's really hard on our fan base, especially ours in particular, because they are so passionate. They have such a huge influence, on the game. And that will be really challenging to have those competitions without our fans. So that's first. And the side note with that is there will be a January 1st look-in for the basketball programs, and then all the other sports related to that. But from now until the end of the year, there will be no fans. There was a caveat in that if local health authorities allowed, student athlete guests and coaches' families would be allowed to attend. That is still a decision that's going to be made by the Oregon Health Authority that we have not gotten an answer back yet, which, there was that little thing called the wildfires that occurred in the middle of all of this that, has certainly changed the focus. And then, as we just mentioned, there has been an incredible increase in our state as far as cases go. So they've got a lot on their plate, and how they're managing all of this. Just in my little world, everything that's happening on a day-to-day basis, I can't imagine running a state. So, time again, just waiting to see what all of that looks like. But those are the things that have been going on and that we are working through right now. But as you mentioned, even though you can't be there, your face or your dog's face can be in Autzen Stadium. So get your cutout.
Can just real quick on the cutouts, and we're talking about a lot of serious things. I don't mean to downplay that, but can we have an entire section of just the duck? Like, I just kind of feel like that's a really duck thing to do. Like, that's something that the duck would do, right? Like, he would just occupy an entire section.
Yeah, the duck doesn't get to be there either, so it's a pretty good request there, Joey.
Okay. I did know, unfortunately, that the duck would not be in attendance. It'll be weird. A lot of this is weird. Lisa, right. The athletic department and the resources that have been allocated. I mean, I'm just so amazed at the way that you talked about the medical staff, the way that they've been able to evolve and adapt and do all these different things. Also working with Lane County. I mean, that you guys are just one example of the many groups that are working with local health authorities. What are those conversations like? And you touched on it, just everything happening in our day-to-day. I can't even imagine running a state. I can't even imagine running a county. I can't even imagine doing what you're doing, Lisa. I mean, it's amazing to just think about all these different things that are going on. And I don't know if that was really a halfway decent question. It was probably like a 20% decent question, but just kind of an insight into how those conversations go and just, I don't know, take fans inside the room if you could.
Sure. Well, one is I definitely didn't know that this was going to be part of my duties, even with that long title. Managing a pandemic, definitely there's not a guidebook for that. And I know that it's really hard. And I think that we talked about this last time too, but for people that are used to really controlling things, to really have little to no control is very hard. And so, that's been a challenge. And so all the credit to our coaches and our student athletes and all the staff who have navigated and have been flexible and have adjusted to all the different things, because as we have already said, things are changing constantly. As far as the conversations with local health authorities, as well as with Oregon Health Authority, it's pretty granular. I mean, we get as detailed as, okay, so with the sports that we've got, moving, if somebody tests positive, with the contact tracing, even though we are doing the daily antigen testing, how far back do you have to go? If they're sitting on an airplane, what does that look like? And trying to mitigate some of the risk in doing all of this. So it becomes very, very granular. And, talking about the other sports that aren't doing the daily antigen testing yet, what can they do? And as of right now, especially with where our community is in cases, which if I can get a little plug, just wear a face covering, stay 6 feet apart, all of those things that will definitely help us. Thank you, Joey. They still can't do their normal full practices. Right. They are having to do drills that stay 6 feet apart. They're all wearing face coverings. The only time that they don't have to is like when you're outside sprinting. So typically like our cross country track athletes, is the time. So it's been very challenging, and coaches have had to adapt and adjust, and they've done an incredible job with all of that. So those are the kind of conversations. And then, like I said, with Oregon Health Authority, it's, what are our maximums in the building? What's our maximums inside the Mo? What's our maximums inside a football game?
Right.
If we have guests, if we can't have guests, that sort of stuff, and trying to navigate all of that, and understanding that we have done a lot of collaboration with Oregon State to make sure that we are making the requests and doing everything together, even though we do have different county requirements. We have, done a lot of collaborating with them, but understanding that, the Oregon Health Authority is looking out for the greater good of the community, not just, what we would like to see in Autzen. So I've had to understand a lot of what that looks like and all the things that go into that, and just so appreciative. I mean, we have Hans Bernard, who is our government liaison, who has been incredible. I think he's talked to me more than he probably ever wanted to in his career at Oregon, just in the last month. But he's fantastic, and just all the different people, our campus IMT folks, Krista Dillon and Andre DeLuke and all the folks that have helped with all that. It's challenging. And like I said, it's not just an easy answer. Like everything has to go through so many different layers.
This is other duties as assigned.
Yeah. That's taken over my whole days.
Yeah, I mean, other duties as assigned. We've all been there, right? When you spend an entire day that was other duties as assigned, and you're like, "What the heck happened today?" That's been like every day since February. Lisa Peterson, I got to tell you, I could talk to you for hours, but I promised that I didn't want to keep you like overtime. Jody Sykes was kind enough to say that even though I only ever schedule these things for half an hour, she always blocks off the next 15 minutes for me. So. I'm trying to make these a little bit, shall we say, more efficient when we have our athletic director interviews. My only last question for you, Lisa, is I've been getting a lot of questions about just basketball schedules, all the different options, and just fans are excited to see a basketball schedule. Do we have an update?
Yeah, so what we've been waiting on is what the requirements are going to be for non-conference games. And so that's been the biggest challenge, because in trying to determine who we can play and then when we can play them. And as we've talked about, so the schedule has been shifted back to November 25th, right? And so the number of weeks that we have is shortened. And also there will be more Pac-12 games. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that, but there will be more women's basketball Pac-12 games, which then also makes it even harder. So yes, we're getting there. We also, if you think about it, we're not just trying to schedule women's basketball, because as we talked about, all the other sports. So we are going to be January 1st, because football will make a bowl game. We will be having 20 sports that are happening at once.
Yep.
And so it's not just a matter of, when can they play in Matt Knight Arena. We've now got to schedule or think about, we've got volleyball, we've got acro, we've got all of these other events that are going to be taking place. And that's just in that one facility. So it's trying to coordinate that. And then that's just how Oregon is. If you look at some of the other schools in the league, they have wrestling, they have gymnastics, they have all of these other events too. So it really is challenging. And I think the first part was really trying to figure out, like, what could we have non-conference games? Yeah. And they are allowing that, but then what's that requirement going to be? And how are we going to navigate that? Because you also want to minimize as much risk as possible. And so likely, for us, we're probably going to be looking at home non-conference games.
Right. And
then how do we go through all that? So fingers crossed that, we do have something in place, solidified, by the middle of November. I don't know how much sooner. I mean, it really is. There's so many moving parts. I know that sounds crazy.
Well, I'll tell you, in my own bubble, we're trying to figure out, like, okay, where do you broadcast a game from? How do you do this?
Yes.
How many TVs can I fit into a space so that we have multiple camera angles? I'm right there with you. I can't. That's why I said I can't even imagine doing. Just keep going up the chain. I don't want to. I don't envy it. What you guys are doing is amazing. So Lisa, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time. That was really all I wanted to hit on today, to be honest, was just update on women's basketball, kind of where practices are at, and here's to getting back to some semblance of normalcy. Everybody be like Richard and wear your duck mask. All right, that's all I ask. Yeah. John Brewer told me that it was counterfeit because my mom made it for Richard, but John, I'm saying
I'm trying to sell it. I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, it says, hey, my mom. This is how nice my mom is, Lisa. She actually sent me the disclaimer that said, no, it's licensed for personal use only, I swear. And so I showed that to John and was like, John, come on, man. So anyway, Richard has a Mama McMurray original, and I encourage everybody to get your masks.
Yes.
It's not that hard, and it'll help all of us get back to normalcy in sports. So thank you, Lisa. Did I miss anything? Anything else that you want to highlight before I get you out 10 minutes early, which is going to be
I know.
I'm
going to tell Jody. Yeah, I'm going to tell her. No, just, like I said, just a huge thank you, to everybody who has helped with all this. It's a big deal. It's a big process. There's a lot of people involved, and again, so many conversations that you're used to having with people in person. And I know that you're in the office, but you're one of very few that are in there. And so, just it's a heavy lift. And I think that we've done a really good job at the set in the middle of all of this is the health and safety of our student athletes and our coaches. And that is really the guiding force. And then again, doing our part within our community as well.
Yeah, the weirdest thing ever was when I did a Zoom call yesterday with 5 people who I haven't seen in person since February. And I was in the office. They were not. And, I mean, Lisa, the level of weirdness has not worn off and won't, unfortunately. No. Also, I have to say that Tobias says that no one has said that ever until just now regarding Inside Baseball. So I quit.
Thank you, Tobias. Thank you. Thank you.
Kelly Schuchart, if you're watching today, I know you're busy. I need some assistance here, all right? This is a phrase that people use, I swear. Lisa Peterson.
I'm not saying that they don't, Joey. I'm not saying that they don't. I'm just saying I don't think that it's as widely heard as you might think. Is that fair?
Lisa Peterson, Deputy Athletic Director. Brought to you by Pepsi and locally owned Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks. Drink Pepsi. Thank you, Lisa,
Thanks,
though.
Joey.
I do appreciate
Always a pleasure. All right. Bye.
So, I swear that's a thing that people say. Tobias the only one that chimed in.
That's not a thing that people say.
Tobias the only one that chimed in. So I'm sitting here left thinking that I'm crazy. That's a phrase.
Is it?
Yeah, you know what? We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we're going to hear from Bryan McClendon. I'm looking it up. I'm giving you all a definition here in a little bit. All right, it's Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. We're back inside the Country Financial Studio after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Learfield IMG College.
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. I'm probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay. I just popped some gum in my mouth.
Step out of the car, please.
I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
Warm fleece on a cold day.
I want to be a bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail. When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
All right, we have multiple follow-ups to get to here. Okay, it's Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack with you inside the Country Financial Studio. One, Adrian pointing out exactly how I felt, by the way. The legality of things like that is you can not get the licensed logos and put them on something and sell it. Exactly! It's not like we, work in advertising and licensing or anything. So, Adrian, yes. So, John, looking at you, buddy. He was kidding, but I like to give John a hard time. Also, Lisa Peterson, she's not with us anymore. She actually, has a job to do. But Mitchell Lee back in the radio studio, if you could join us here on the air, please. And those of you won't be able to see Mitchell since he's back in the control studio. But Mitchell, inside baseball is the thing, right?
Oh, yeah, no, that's definitely a thing people say. It's not like the most common phrase ever, but that's definitely a saying.
And Mitchell, how old are you?
I am 26.
See? 26 and 27-year-olds say it. That's what I'm saying.
Like, if you're trying to say, like, I don't want to get too inside baseball, it means you're kind of trying to dumb it down a little bit for someone who doesn't know much about the subject.
Well, that, and it's also the way that I tend to use it is if it's, like, too much in the weeds. It's kind of similar to in the weeds. So
I've heard you say it multiple times before, and it's never been, like, a weird thing.
Thank you.
So he's only heard it from you.
No.
Oh,
that's not true.
Okay.
No. Scott Phillips, no. I want everybody to know, also, this is a good time to introduce Mitchell Lee. Many of you who listen to the football and basketball broadcasts know him already as our studio producer the last couple seasons. Now he's going to be with us every day for Duck and Cider after John Essick has moved on to, I don't know if I'll say bigger and better things, but better things for John. So in all seriousness, we miss you, John, but Mitchell's going to be taking care of us back in the studio. So, Mitchell, you can stay because you agreed with me. This is great. One of the cons.
Glad that's what it takes.
It's one of the pros of being the host of the show that, you know, I can make those determinations, I guess, right? Hey, by the way, Bryan McClendon talked to the media. This is the first time, actually, that the new Oregon wide receivers coach met with the media. He talked a little bit about why he took the job at Oregon, what he sees in the room, and talked to the media for quite a while. Part one of his press conference here to get into the football nitty-gritty.
I'll get the elephant out of the room, Bryan. What was it like interviewing for a job amid a pandemic when you couldn't physically come out here for the interview? Moving cross country. And secondly, I wrote it up, and I have the contract from SC. You left a lot on the table.
Sure.
I know they amended something with the buyout and everything, but you left something on the table. What went into the whole thought process, the interview process, et cetera?
Sure. Well, I'll start with, you know, it's really good to be here. First of all, I got to make sure that everyone understands, man, how excited I am to be here. I'll say this: when it comes to financially, I'll say this: I've never taken a job because of money. I've never stayed at a job because of money. I've gotten opportunities that I passed up that could have been, that were a lot more lucrative in that aspect than they might have been, that they might have come to seem. Just like when I left the University of Georgia to turn down a bunch of big money opportunities to go to the University of South Carolina. So I've always looked for good situations more so than the money, because I feel like if you go to a good situation, then all the rest of the stuff will take care of itself. Now there is some stuff that they, you know, got amended in a bunch of different ways. So I'll kind of leave it at that. So it wasn't anything crazy like wow, but definitely, man, you know, the thing that attracted me so much to University of Oregon was just the opportunity here. Like I said, I've never taken a job that I didn't feel like there wasn't great opportunity at that place. I mean, you look here. It has all the resources, has the right people, has the right head coach, it has the right backing, and to do great things, and just to be a part of that stuff, man, is really, really exciting to me. So it is a different time. When coach reached out, it was kind of different because you get job opportunities offered. I've been really, really blessed to have job opportunities offered to me before. But during that time, it was kind of like, well, you know, how is this all going to work? And then so just obviously, man, after talking with my family and things like that, we're like, hey, man, this is something that we need to do. And so ultimately, you know, we did it, and I'm here and excited to be here.
Because of the pandemic, did you come out here sight unseen, or had you visited out here before? And I guess what's it like coming, you know, spending your whole life in the South and the SEC, and then coming out to the Pacific Northwest to join this staff?
Sure. Well, to answer your question, I'd only been to the state of Oregon one other time in my life. I was at the University of Georgia at the time, and I came out here with the offensive staff to actually visit with Oregon State. Coach Rick and Mike Riley were really good buddies. So we had came out and we had visited with their staff offensively about a couple different things that we were doing over there at the University of Georgia. So I came back, and that was, I want to say in 2007 was my only other time that I had ever been here. But I got a chance to go to the Nike campus and the Nike store and all that other stuff. I got a chance to experience a couple different things in that regard in that short trip. And the other part, just as far as just the other part of just being able to come out here and able to see you, like I said, man, you got a chance to see the backing that this university has. Just as soon as you fly into the Portland airport, I mean, it's kind of like, wow. But as far as being able to come out here from being in the Southeast in the SEC, it's not truly different. I tell you, it's a people business, and it's all about people, and it's about the players. At the end of the day, if it weren't for the players, none of us coaches would have jobs. So, I mean, I think that's kind of how I take it. And I just entrench myself and kind of making sure that we're doing everything we can do to make sure that those guys are successful both on and off the field. And that's that makes it real easy. So when it comes to that, when it comes to recruiting, it's all about people and about relationships, and you're going to have to build those wherever you go.
Philosophically speaking, I guess, how do your beliefs at the position, I guess, as the passing coordinator align with Joe Moorhead?
Sure.
And then kind of what are some of the pillars of what you like out of your receivers?
Sure. When it comes to philosophically, I mean, it's going to lean a lot on what Joe feels real comfortable with. At the end of the day, he's the coordinator. He's the guy that's going to have to call the plays. So it's going to have to be stuff that he has real strong convictions in. Being in that seat, there's a couple different things. It's really good to get input, and sometimes it's really bad. It's really bad to get too much input also. And so I just, my job is to make sure that we're doing everything that we can do personally, with my position, with my players to support his vision of what the offense needs to be and focus on that. And so, because ultimately that's my job more so than to coordinate anything at all. So it's really going to be what he feels really comfortable in. He asked me about certain things, and then we'll kind of go back and forth on some different things. But other than that, it's going to be what he feels real strongly about doing, and we'll move on from there. And so, but what I look for in receivers is, quite frankly, I like guys that can catch the ball. As silly as that might sound, as plain as that might sound, you like guys that can naturally catch the football, and then you like guys that can create plays after they have the ball in their hand. I mean, it's really, really hard in nowadays football to go 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 plays in a row to have to execute that to put together drives. You want guys that can create explosive plays on their own. So that's what we focus on. We focus on that. We focus on turning big plays, but whether it be in the run game or in the pass game, into touchdowns. And that's our goal. But at the end of the day, we know we still have work to do. And right now, man, the only thing we have in common with the guys that we play against is time. And so we want to make sure that we're maximizing ours.
Bryan McClendon, new Oregon wide receivers coach. I think you can see why Coach Cristobal hired him. Very articulate, really, really smart guy, and a great coach. The players have talked a lot about him. Jalen Redd, we heard from him today. We're going to hear a little bit about Coach McClendon coming up. More from him in just a little bit. Stick with us. More Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union coming up. We zero in on Oregon football inside the Country Financial Studio on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
This football season, prepare your taste buds for the most iconic sports watching drink of all time, Pepsi. With refreshing deliciousness specially formulated to keep your eye on the ball and mouth-watering fizziness to help you power through game day, Pepsi has everything you need to start strong.
I used to care when Mike cheered so hard he spilled nacho cheese on my carpet, but thanks to Pepsi, even Mike can't ruin my football party.
So this football season, make Pepsi your go-to game day drink because it's the only drink made for football watching. Pepsi, that's what I like.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Whoa. The moment my son saw a redwood tree.
It's huge!
Is the moment I knew that for him,
You can't even see the top of that thing.
even the sky has no limit.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. Your moment is out there, find it at discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Jill, why don't you tell the class what you did this weekend?
Well, my dad and I went in search of some magical minnows and found a zillion of them in the stream from our lookout rock. Then my sister and I escaped from an evil slug king and went back to my super twig fort for safety. Then we told stories till it got dark, and the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Where were you, Jill?
We went to the forest. It's not that far away.
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack inside the Country Financial Studio. Every assistant coach interview this year brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with cancer care you can count on. Hearing from new Oregon wide receivers coach Bryan McClendon.
First off, what's it like working on staff with a bunch of other recruiters, that recruiting so focused? And then secondly, coming to this job in the middle of the pandemic, what's it been like recruiting when you haven't been able to meet with any prospects? I know you can't say any prospects specifically, but what's that been like to recruit when you had just gotten to a place?
Sure. Well, it's always great to be on the staff with like-minded people, and I've been fortunate to be on, other really good staffs also. And so, I mean, and every staff that you're on, I think every staff in college football recruiting is definitely or should be a main focus, because at the end of the day, man, that's kind of the lifeblood of every program is the recruits that it brings in. And so obviously, having Coach Cristobal having done it at a high level shows that he gets it. I mean, he gets it and he understands it. But it is, I mean, it's just nowadays in society, man, it's just what the world has come to in the sense of how you meet people and how you socialize, I mean, when it comes to Zoom, when it comes to FaceTime and all the technology that you have available, you just have to use that as much as you can to expose yourself to as many other recruits and their family members and everything like that, to get real comfortable with each other when it comes to that. But like I mentioned earlier, I mean, recruiting is about relationships. It's about gaining the trust of people, and they know that you're going to do everything you can do within your power to make them the best that they can be, both on and off the field, and at the end of the day, that's what you're trying to show people. So just doing a good job of just trying to make sure that every opportunity that I get, that's what I'm doing too.
What is it about this wide receiver group so far that's impressed you? I know it's still very, very early in camp. What is it about them that's impressed you? And if there's somebody that's stuck out to you so far that's really caught your eye, maybe that you didn't expect or that's impressed you just in these early moments of camp? Sure. Well, I'll say this, what have been real positive with our guys is you see the progression in every practice that we've taken. They are doing a really good job of taking stuff from the meeting room out to practice and applying it. And so, I'm a guy that I'm very, very demanding in a lot of different ways. On everything from all, I mean, there is no detail too small that I won't be demanding about. And those guys are doing a great job of allowing me to push them to make sure that they reach all of those expectations that we have. I told them, man, we have really high expectations in our room, and they're not lowering. And so, I mean, those guys are working their tails off, man, to try to make sure that they're going out there and improving every single day. So that right there has probably been the biggest thing that I've been impressed with right now with those guys. And they know that every day is opportunity. But I've been really, really pleased with the guys that really, the same guys that have played a bunch of ball, the Johnny Johnsons, Jalen Reds, Micah Pittmans. They're doing a really good job. I've been real impressed with Chris Hudson up to this point. He still has a long way to go and a lot to learn, but he's very, very willing. I've been pleased with him. But overall, the overall group has done real well, and those guys have worked their tails off every single day to improve. And, like I said, we're still a long way away, but those guys are working to get there.
Hey, Coach. I know that you've coached in the SEC for a while before coming to Oregon, and then Mario Cristobal also coached in the SEC and Alabama before coming to Oregon. And some like pundits in the last few years have said that Cristobal's brought like an SEC mentality
Sure.
to Oregon. Can you talk about the similarities between Oregon's current program and the previous programs that you've been at?
Sure. Just as far as mentality wise, it's kind of all I've known is what we do here. So it's like I said, I guess if you understand how similar those are, then that's something. But that's really all I've known. Just the way to attack every single day, the attention to detail and everything that we're doing, the high standard and everything, and the standard that we will hold everybody to in the building. Not just those guys, but everybody understand that they have an important part to our success here. Everybody does. And so, like I said, that's kind of all I know. He's been exposed. Coach Cristobal has been exposed to some really, really, really good coaches, and all of us coaches are really just a culmination of the people who brought us up in this business. And he's had really good people that's bring him up in the business. And so, I've been really, really fortunate to be around him and pick up stuff in my short time here, and really plan on doing so, as long as I'm here.
Bryan McClendon, Oregon wide receivers coach, met with the media for the first time. Great stuff. I think that wide receivers room really going to benefit from him being in it. We'll talk more about that coming up. I want to get into Jalen Redd. Stick with the wide receiver position. Jalen met with the media today. We'll get a quick timeout. Come back, hear from Jalen Redd. It's Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union, back inside the Country Financial Studio, next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Mountain Dew Zero Sugar presents an original that's now maybe even better. Mary had a little lamb.
Mary had a bottle of Mountain Dew Zero Sugar with the same refreshing taste as the original, but with zero sugar. Same refreshing taste as the original, but with zero sugar. Same refreshing taste as the original, but with zero sugar. Mary had a bottle of Mountain Dew Zero Sugar that's taste was as good as the original, maybe even better.
Mountain Dew Zero Sugar, as good as the original, maybe even better.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics. This is the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Joey Mack welcoming you back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union here inside the Country Financial Studio. Our Toyota OSN Classics coming up this Saturday. We're going to have the Pac-12 Championship win over Utah for you, and we'll spend first hour doing a pregame show. Terry Johns will anchor our coverage and bring you some of the highlights from the week of Oregon football practice as we've continued to go in depth. I got to say, there's been so many interviews, and with these Zoom interviews, we've had so many of them that's really filled up the entire show. It's going to continue to be that way because let's keep hearing about what's going on in practice. Jalen Redd, Oregon wide receiver, he talked to the media just a little while ago today, and I figured that'd be a good thing to follow Coach McClendon with. Talking about the wide receivers today, and Jalen Redd, one of the stars.
Hey, Jalen, one of the big things for you guys this season is a new wide receivers coach, Coach McClendon. Talk a little bit about him and what he's brought to your wide receiver room.
Right now he just bought high expectations when it comes to the receiver room. It's a lot of experience when it comes to his game and his tier, being in his position in college football and in the NFL. So right now everybody is just taking all the information they can that he has to give and offer for us, and it's really just all ears right now. We're just trying to learn from him as much as we can.
What's your takeaways from this? What can we expect from this offense, and then what are your expectations for your senior year? You've been a highly productive guy individually. What's just kind of your focus for you?
My focus right now is just trying to go 1-0 every day. Right now, as the offense goes, I feel like we getting everything going and started. It's looking like a real explosive offense. As far as everything going on, there's a lot of guys working. Everybody done got tremendously better at every position on the field as of this year from last year. So I feel like this year is going to be a lot of different things and interesting things going on the offensive side of the ball that people are going to like.
How tough was it for you to miss the Rose Bowl, and why did you miss the Rose Bowl?
It was tough for me to miss my Rose Bowl. At the end of the day, my team got the win. I got to handle some personal problems. I had to go hang out with the family a little bit, but at the end of the day, my team got the win, Rose Bowl dub. And my goal in my mind right now is as far as seeing what's going on for this upcoming season.
Hey, Jalen. Johnny a couple days ago said a lot of guys are moving around at receiver. He's playing slot. He's playing outside. And kind of who are the other guys working in at slot? And then a player that Mario mentioned yesterday that he said you were mentoring along with Johnny was Chris Hudson, who just got here. Kind of what have you seen from him so far?
He's a beast. He's a beast. He's a dog as a young man coming in right now as a freshman. I feel like his mindset is a lot more elevated than others coming in. I feel like he's gonna be somebody that's gonna be on that watch list to be coming up, making plays, helping us out this year and in the future. As far as people moving around, I feel like right now everybody moving around in the offense when it comes to Micah, Devin, Chach, Johnny, me, myself. So I feel like right now everybody is really just trying to be very versatile in the offense and just trying to use everybody in the best ways they can.
Hi, Jalen. So Justin Herbert was the man you're catching the passes from the past. How you evaluate Tyler and Anthony going into the season here?
Oh yeah, of course I heard he was a great quarterback. But right now, I mean, I feel like I'm blessed to have the people that's throwing me the ball right now, because right now everybody done stepped up to the plate. Tyler done stepped up to the plate tremendously with the ones. He coming in, there's no fall off, man. He's been doing everything like a vet. Everything that's we've been going on, it's been great communication going on, film study, ball been on point, timing, everything's been great. I love working with him. Same with AB. AB come in, he a vet himself. He come in ready to work, and you get extra stuff before practice, after practice, just anything like that. Both of them looking really efficient right now, though.
Jalen, I asked Cyrus the other day, what's the kind of different about the offense? He said, he says in practice he's noticed they've been taking more shots downfield. What's your impressions of the differences in the offense this year under Coach Moorhead versus previous seasons?
Exactly like you said, explosive plays, down the field plays, anything, stuff going vertical. Let's get the ball out of his hands and see. Let's put our best guys out there and see who's gonna beat them down the field. And that's really what he's been about right now. We taking shots. We doing what we can to be one of the most explosive offenses in the pack, and that's what we're gonna do.
Jalen, how did you try to develop chemistry with Tyler during the pandemic when you two obviously couldn't be together for a long stretch there, and also with Anthony, who you haven't been with for very long yet?
Really, so over the whole period of time where we kind of didn't know what was going on, a lot of our players were still taking it in our own hands to go out and work out together, especially our offensive players, the receivers, and the Qs. Just try to come up here now 3 times a week just to keep the repetition going on, everything's set in stone. Go over the playbooks together as well, so we know what plays was gonna be running while we're doing it as well. So really that stuff right there kind of helped us prepare for camp already.
Yeah, Jalen, has the staff done anything unique to help you guys understand the playbook and the what and that and the why? Mario Cristobal said your install was done really, really easily, quickly. There hasn't, obviously because of lack of practice, you were rusty, but what helped you guys pick up things so quickly when you couldn't be on the field?
Really just repetition and making the most out of our time. I feel like whenever we up here, whenever we together, I feel like there's no time wasted. It's down to the details and everything. Nothing should be nonchalant. Nothing should be nothing like that. We should have everything dialed, ready to go. So really, all our meeting time, Zoom meeting time, just everything was just so detailed that everything been going real well, honestly, especially on the install. It doesn't even have to be that many installs for us to get it. It just has to go repetition and details.
And I know you guys have been busy with camp getting started, but your old quarterback, Justin Herbert, has had a pretty productive last 4 weeks. Are you guys been watching that and been any surprised with how well he's been doing in the NFL?
I'm not surprised. I've been watching as well, though. I've been watching every week. I stay tuned in. That's my man. I'm his biggest fan. So all the plays that he make, man, I jump up to my feet every time. I call my parents every time he start throw a touchdown still, just to let them know they watching the game just like me. So like everything he got going on right now is just, it's happy for me. I've seen it come in personally. I worked with him every day. So yeah, I'm just happy for that dude. I wish I could give bro a hug.
I love that. Just he's happy for him, right? I think we all are. I think that Jalen was just every Duck fan spirit animal right there. Like, I still jump up, still get excited. I love that from Jalen Red talking about Justin Herbert there toward the end. And a lot of expectation in that wide receiver room. And I think judging from what they've said about Tyler Shuck, Anthony Brown, they're pretty happy with that quarterback room as well. All right, we're going to get a break. Come back. Austin Value, one of the senior leaders of this defensive line. He talked to the media today. Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Going down in the trenches next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Man, do I love card night. You ready, boys? You got a king?
Go, Fish Dad!
Oh, come on. This is WWE superstar Titus O'Neil. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union, inside the Country Financial Studio. I'm really looking forward to getting back to picks with Jerry and Jorgie. Always brought to you by North Fork Public House, open for dine-in and takeout, northforkeugene.com. And I'm hoping that we can get back to normal sooner than later so that I can cash in on the dinner that I won. It's going to be great. I'm telling you, it's going to be great. Austin Value talked to the media today. One of the senior leaders for this defense. And that's how we'll finish up today's show, is hearing a little bit from Austin Value and what the defense is looking like. And that defensive line might be the strength of Oregon's team this year. Austin Value.
When did you feel comfortable to play, and was there ever kind of a thought process for you to maybe opt out as some of your teammates have had decided to do that?
Yeah, I mean, one of the main things, I was looking at, through this whole, break, quarantine was just, when season was going to start and when season was going to end. Because, I didn't want to cut into, combine training and stuff like that. But, once we got the set date and when it was going to end, I was like, oh, yeah, it's full go. I'm ready to come back,
give it all to my brothers one more time and, get ready for the league.
Hey, Austin, I wanted to get you're one of the veterans on the line now. You've been ramping up more and more playing time every year you've been here since your freshman year. And as a veteran, I want to get your opinion of something we heard the other day about the young interior defensive linemen, Keon Ware-Hudson, Christian Williams. I'd like to get your opinion as a veteran of what you're seeing out of those guys going into their second year.
Yeah, I mean, they're improving greatly. They're just sitting back, picking at me, Jordan, Popo, Kayvon. They're just picking at our brains, try to get little notes that they could get while they're playing. And, one thing that I'm seeing with them is their strength. They're becoming really strong. They're fast now. They're more confident in their steps and, the plays that, they're not making any mental errors as much as they did, the last year. So I'm just excited to see, them play fast and get out there and start doing what they do.
I was just curious, if you've been watching some of the college football around the country, defenses are giving up a lot of points, especially some name brand defenses. Do you feel like with having all your starters back on the defensive line and going into year 2 with Andy that maybe you guys will be in better position, even though you don't have a lot of time to get ready for the first game?
Oh, yeah. I feel like, the game plan that we got going in, we're going to be really good against, opposing offenses. Coach Cristobal really hit it on the head with us. A lot of teams haven't been putting in the work, with the whole quarantine and stuff. And, he said that's not going to be us. We're going to play hard-nosed football. We're going to hammer them right down the neck. We're going to play hard as we ever did. And, Coach Avalos, his defense, he's just allowing us to cut it loose, play hard, play violent, not give anything up.
Austin Value, one of the senior defensive leaders for this team. I thought that was a great answer to that question. That's a tough question. Hey, you guys in a better position to not give up points compared to everybody else in the country. That's a tough question to answer. I mean, honestly, there probably isn't a right answer to that question except, well, we think so. And that's exactly kind of what Austin said. Austin Value, though, Jordan Scott, those guys up front, they're going to be a force. It's funny. I found myself talking about Austin and Jordan, and I keep forgetting about the Pac-12 defensive player or defensive freshman of the year in Kayvon Thibodeau. That dude's still here, too. The defensive line is going to be really, really good. Defensive line is going to be really, really good. Boy, what a show. We heard from Bryan McClendon, Lisa Peterson, Jalen Redd, Austin Value. Tomorrow on the show, we're going to hear from Special Teams Coordinator, tight ends coach Bobby Williams. Also, we'll hear from Nick Pickett, maybe a few other Oregon student athletes as well. Dana Altman is going to meet with the media tomorrow. Yeah, and Kevin Wilhite, a great Duck, an Oregon alum. We're going to chat with him tomorrow as well. Part of Bring Him Back. We'll see you then.
Tweens have mastered the art of tuning out. Jen, there's a spider in the car. We're turning your room into a home gym. See? Nothing. But some messages need to get through. Like making sure they're buckled up. The whole ride, every time. Do whatever it takes to make your child listen. Jen, I friended your boyfriend.
Wait, what?
Buckle up, sweetie.
Never give up